In this video, I'm going to tell you the 5 things you need to know before doing a full service on your RZR 200. Stick around to the end and I'll give you a pro tip on how to drain the transmission fluid without making a mess. As always, please show your support by hitting the subscribe button and clicking the bell icon to turn on notifications. First, what we use and what we don't do. The list next to me shows you all the fluids we use when doing a full maintenance routine on our RZR 200. You'll notice I like to use all OEM products except when it comes to the engine oil. The engine oil we use is not the recommended Polaris brand, and I suggest not using it because it could void any warranty that you might have. Do your research and decide what is best for your machine. Now, if you currently do the full maintenance on your bigger machines like us, then you will not have any issue doing the maintenance on the RZR 200. Things you won't need to do is change the front diff fluid and grease the wheel bearings. Second, greasing. We start off with greasing the 4 zerts we found on this machine. Now, if you find more than 4, please drop a comment below so we can help the other riding community. We start off with greasing the 2 zerts on the front sway bar, which required us to lift up the front end. This allowed enough clearance so our locking coupler could secure tightly to the zert. I'll link the locking coupler in the description below in case you need one for better fitment. The other 2 grease zerts are on the rear sway bar and are much easier to access. Third, drain all the fluids. I start off with draining the engine oil. Now be careful with pulling out the engine oil plug because there is a spring and screen that will come down with it. Once that's completed, I move on to taking off the oil filter and allowing any excess oil to drain out. When reinstalling the new oil filter, I do apply a thin layer of oil around the outer ring to help with a clean seal when hand tightening it back up. Next, I move on to draining the transmission fluid. The transmission drain plug allows the fluids to drain directly onto the brake area, causing a huge mess. The pro tip for a cleaner drain is getting the RZR 200 transmission fluids funnel. It held itself in place, allowing me to use both hands to loosen up the drain plug and remove it without causing any mess. This was a must-have tool that I will link in the description below if you are interested in getting one. Fourth, adding oil and checking the air filter. Start off with making sure both drain plugs are back in and tighten the specs. Be careful not to over tighten these drain plugs because they can strip them out, which would cause a much bigger issue. Once that's in, I add in the correct amount of engine oil. For our year model RZR 200, the manual calls for 35.5 ounces of engine oil. Once that's completed, I move on to adding in the correct amount of transmission fluid. For our year model RZR 200, the manual calls for 25 ounces of transmission fluid. Once both fluids are filled up, then I move on to replacing the air filter. Now I replace the air filter at every fluid's change, no matter how many miles have been put on it. If the air filter I pull out is in good or great condition, I will save it in our travel box for those long trips as a backup. Now for this install, you pop off the clamps off of each side and remove the air box cap. Once that's off, you remove the air filter and replace it with the new filter. Then finish off the install with reinstalling the air box cover. Fifth, checking oil levels and checking the chain. I start off with allowing the machine to run for 5 minutes, and I turn it off and let it sit for another 5 minutes. This allows the oil to move around and then settle back down. Then I check the engine oil levels. If I need to add some, I will. I never add a lot, and I always repeat the process between each time of adding fluids. I usually never do it more than twice. The fluid amount stated in the manual is usually spot on. So I'm not saying this is how you need to change your fluids. I'm only explaining how we change the fluids on our RZR 200 so please take it for what it is. Once the engine oil levels check out, then I WD-40 the chain and call it a wrap. The chain definitely needs to be oiled more than once a year. So if you ride your machine a lot, then I would check it monthly to see if it needs oil. In conclusion, completing a full regular maintenance on your RZR 200 is important. We do ours every April or May depending on when our first ride is scheduled. Now if your machine gets ridden a lot, I would suggest tracking the hours and miles and doing it at the intervals stated in your owner's manual. So please check out the description of this video for links to all the products we mentioned. Using the links in our description to buy these products helps us to continue to bring you great information like this video. Please show your support by hitting the subscribe button and clicking the bell icon to turn on notifications. If this video has helped you, then please smash the like button and thank you for watching.